What's going on, everybody? It's Dadbot here, and welcome back to Bloodborne. So we just killed Lady Maria in the last video, and one cool thing I wanted to point out is that if you got a good look at Maria, and then you take a look at the doll, you can actually notice a strong resemblance between the doll and Maria. And this idea is actually reinforced by the fact that the voice actor for the doll is actually the same person as the voice actor for Maria. So, as a theory goes, is that the doll was actually fashioned after Lady Maria, because if you recall, Lady Maria is in the Old Hunters DLC, which, you know, most of that content takes place long ago in the past, and actually Lady Maria was one of Gehrman's pupils. So it is believed that Gehrman had some form of romantic interest for Lady Maria. Whether or not it was reciprocated is up for debate. Many believe that it was not reciprocated, but Gehrman just kind of had, romantic feelings for her. Maybe went beyond that in some way or form. And when it came to his workshop, he ended up fashioning the doll after her, just kind of as a symbol of his love for her. So that is an interesting little piece of lore, just in terms of who the doll is and why she is the way that she is. But as for now, we're going to take on the next boss of the game. We just work back to the first lamp of the DLC, and we are going to run straight to the boss. So the quickest way to do that is just to go up these stairs. We're not even going to engage any of the enemies. That hunter, he almost always will do a blast from his gun every time you run by. It's very easy just to run around without even stopping to acknowledge him. So the next thing to do is go up here. This boulder is gonna light on fire and come down. It's very easy to get around that. Wait for these two guys to go and open the door, and then the giant white church dude's gonna come out and swing at him. They're going to be too preoccupied with each other to really worry about you very much. So what I recommend doing is waiting for a good opening and then just running by. And then also what I recommend is waiting for him to turn around and then going down and killing him, because every time you kill him, you're going to get 6 blood vials. Now, you remember, I believe it was the last video, if not the video before, where I showed you how to get Laurence's skull. That is required to fight this next boss, because if you remember, we came here before and the boss was, he was just sitting on the altar completely still, and there was no way to really trigger him at all. Now we have Laurence's skull. He's actually going to get up and he's going to be a boss that we fight. He is an optional boss. You do not have to kill him to get through the DLC, and in my opinion, I will say he is the hardest boss in the game, and it's not close. I believe in my first playthrough, he took me at least 100 tries, probably far in excess of 100 tries to kill. He just has an absurd amount of HP, and his attacks do an insane amount of damage. So a couple things I'm going to demonstrate in this fight. They may or may not be all that effective, given the fact that my arcane stat is not all that great. I'm going to take these off because I'm not going to use fire paper, because he's fire-based, so fire paper is not effective at all. I'm going to put the empty phantasm shell on, because that'll buff my weapon with arcane by using 3 quicksilver bullets. I'm also going to equip the black sky eye, just to show you just an option that you have to use this as a projectile. And then just for fun, I'm going to equip the Holy Moonlight Sword, just to show you, because that has a projectile attack as well. And some people that have a really tripped out arcane stat have a lot of success using this weapon against him, since it does have a long range attack. And if you have a really high arcane stat and maybe some arcane blood gems on this thing, you can do some serious damage from afar. So my main weapon of choice for this fight is going to be the Saw Cleaver, just because it has a very quick attack, and it is buffed against beasts pretty much, and this boss is basically a reskinned version of the cleric beast that does fire damage. So let's go on and give it a shot. This is Laurence the First Vicar. This is what came of Laurence after he split from Bergenworth and started the Healing Church. Okay, as I mentioned, he is pretty much a reskin of the Cleric Beast, but he does have some attacks that are unique to him, namely that one where he does the slam, but then he has the follow-up release where that has a fire AoE. You definitely do not want to be near that. I actually fight this boss not locked on, and there he is doing his fire attack again, where he does the AoE with the release. My main strat for fighting him is just get behind him and find the openings and take advantage of those as best as possible. That jump attack almost one-shotted me. I didn't time my dodge properly. Most of his moves are actually identical to the Cleric Beast, although one key difference being that he has a second phase. He has a transformation that the Cleric Beast did not have. But he has a lot of similar moves, like those swipes that he's doing. His grab attack is almost identical. His jump attack is almost identical. But his attacks obviously are just hitting a lot harder than the Cleric Beast's attacks did. When we get to the second phase, I'll kind of pause and explain his moves during the second phase, which are, he does a transformation, so his moveset completely changes. So a couple things I wanted to demonstrate. If you have high arcane, there are some options that you have that might help you out. For example, the Black Sky Eye, just to do some projectile type damage. This uses one quick silver bullet a pop. You'll see I'm only doing 110 damage with it, but if you have a higher arcane stat, that might increase substantially. And then with the Holy Moonlight Sword, some people find great success using the Holy Moonlight Sword against him, just because you're somewhat safe from his very powerful attacks, and you are doing some powerful damage as well if you have a high arcane stat and some arcane buffs on there. So we're doing 156, not nearly enough to hardly make a dent in his health, but I just wanted to point out, if you are a more arcane-based build, then you are going to have much more success using this against him, and I've seen people do some pretty significant damage to him with it. But since that's not us, that's not really our build at this point, I'm going to switch back to my Saw Cleaver, use the empty Phantasm Shell as my buff, and at this point I'm just going to straight up engage him and stop running around and dodging his attacks and whatnot. Hopefully we'll get him this attempt and not have to waste a whole bunch of time on this video doing multiple attempts on him. Alright, so I'm going to throw on the Phantasm Shell. You can see it's glowing blue, which means it has the arcane buff on it. So my main strat is get behind him when he's open and wail on him and try to stay behind him, because most of his attacks are going to be in front of him. He does have some recovery attacks where he'll still get you from behind, but as long as your stamina is good, you can still recover some of that health as part of your rally damage. So here he's going to do the fire AoE, so I'm not going to charge him right away, but once that fire AoE goes away, I'm going to charge in and just wail on him. And so at some point he's going to get to that where he does his kind of attack where he like falls down. If he falls down on you directly, it's going to do a large amount of damage. So as long as you're behind him, when he falls forward, he's not going to fall on you, which is good. Jump attack landed right on me. So if he had chained that with anything, I would have been toast. But and that's what he does when he falls forward. And that, fortunately for me, wasn't a direct hit, but did do. I'm actually going to put on the Blood of Adela just in case I need it. Have that as an option in my quick bar. Right now I need to get away from him. And then I need to put my Phantasm Shell back on. Alright. Whoops. Dodged too late there. And this is risky because he's attacking, and yep, I couldn't get away from him in time. Okay. So as I did with, I wasn't expecting him to get him first try, but oh well, it is what it is. Now that I've kind of explained everything, at least about his first phase, and unfortunately he was getting pretty close to transforming, but I'm going to kind of do what I did with Ludwig and with Maria. In this attempt, I'm really just going to focus on the fight as opposed to explaining everything that he does, just because this is a boss fight that requires a bit more concentration, and as you can see, I'm not all that successful with talking and being precise at the same time. So I'm going to put my Ludwigs back on just because, my stats for using the Holy Moonlight Sword aren't quite high enough to really make it viable for me to base my strat on killing him around that. But I'm going to stick with the old saw cleaver here. And of course the run back, it's not too bad. It takes like, you know, a minute, something like that to get back to him. So it could be a lot worse. But it's the same thing every time. Let these guys open the door, and then big dude attack. And get around whenever you have an opening. Oop. Looks like his range got the best of me there, but that's okay. So we're going to kill him just about every time, simply because he gives us 6 blood vials. So it's, again, sort of like with that one thing with before Ludwig that gave us a +5 blood vial every time. This is almost sort of like a built-in blood vial farm, just so, you know, because when you're fighting him a bunch of times over and over again, it's easy to run low on blood vials. And again, you always have that pig farming route at the end of Murgo's Loft if you need to get a bunch of blood echoes really quick, and then you can just buy blood vials at the shop if you're running low, and then that way, if you have to find yourself having to fight this boss over and over again and you're running out of blood vials, that's a quick way to stock up on him real quick. Okay, so saw cleaver, and I'm just going to fight him straight up this time without really talking. So, alrighty, here we go. Okay, so this is his second phase. You'll see that pretty much the bottom half of him is gone. He's going to have an entirely different moveset that I'm going to do my best to explain to you. So the first thing is he does this lava spit. You want to run to your left around it, and that'll leave him open to get a couple hits on his weak side. He generally attacks with his strong side, and his attacks are very powerful, so you don't want to take a direct hit. That is a 3-hit combo. Sometimes he changes it twice, so he'll do a total of 6 hits where he'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Sometimes he just was one set where he'll only do 3 hits. Sometimes he does it twice. But when he does that, you want to stay, if you're close especially, you want to stay to his weak side, because you'll see he kind of just moves in a circle when you're close to him instead of running right at you. And that leaves you, that gives you an opportunity to get some hits in. And now he's doing his lava attack when I'm right next to him, which also leaves me a chance to get some hits in. Now I want to get away. I want to get away so I can heal up right now. So he's doing it. You want to stay close to that weak arm, and then he'll just kind of move in a circle. And then that'll allow some opportunities to wail on him a little bit. I'm going to get away so I don't take a direct shot. And I think he's got a couple hits left. I might try to troll him with the Black Sky Eye and see if that helps me at all. Not really. But he did leave himself open. He's doing his fire attack. He's gone. Got him. All right, there we got him. The, in my opinion, hardest boss of the game. I know I made that second phase look easy. I know I probably made that whole fight look easy. As I've said, in my opinion, he is by far the hardest boss in this game. At least he gave me more trouble by far than any other boss in this game. If you really struggle with him, I mean, just keep at it. It's just learning that timing, learning how to dodge, learning how to get behind him, get your hits in. In my opinion, his second phase is actually a little bit easier than his first phase, just in the fact that his moves are easier to punish. And just don't get greedy. Don't take shots from him directly. And just know when to get your hits in, and it's just kind of developing a feel for when to punish his attacks, and then having a feel for when you're getting greedy and about to get punished and getting away at that time. So he gives us the Beast's Embrace rune, which is another one of those Covenant blue slot runes, and it gives a temporary boost to your transform. And it says, after repeated experiments in controlling the Scourge of the Beast, the Gentle Embrace rune was discovered. When its implementation failed, the Embrace became a forbidden rune, but this knowledge became a foundation of the Healing Church. Those who swear this oath take on a ghastly form and enjoy accentuated transformation effects, especially while wielding a beast weapon. Okay, and for our trouble, we get a lamp right here, which we're going to use. In fact, I'm going to put my fire paper back on, just because I do like to use fire paper. I use that empty phantasm shell for this fight, again, because Laurence is a fire-based boss. And the first time I was fighting him, when I told you it took me probably 100 tries, I ran out of bolt paper. And so I just started using the empty phantasm shell because that was all I had left, and I didn't really have a bunch of insight to buy more stuff with. And so the first time I killed him, it was an exhilarating feeling after so many attempts. You know, I just kind of took that phantasm shell as somewhat of a lucky charm, so now I always just decide to kill him with that, even if I do have bolt paper at my disposal. But we do need to restock on our fire paper because we're running low because of the Lady Maria fight. So let's go ahead and put that back on. I don't need 19. I'm just going to get 8 to max out. And so, what we're going to do now is we're going to return to the Fishing Hamlet, which is the last area of the DLC, and it is a very challenging area. You gotta, take your time. There are some very powerful enemies in the Fishing Hamlet, and of course, it culminates with the final boss of the DLC, which is another action-packed fight. I'm not sure if we're going to get there in this episode, but we're going to try, and we'll see. So this hamlet is littered with a new type of enemy, these kind of fish-like creatures, and they're all over the place in here. So they do hit kind of hard. They have some powerful attacks, but if you get the first shot on them and get them before they really notice you, they're not so bad. And some of them are kind of hidden, like that one. Some of them have spears. So look at that giant. It's like a big charge. They take like a bunch of steps and then they shove their spear into the ground. Getting hit by that directly will hurt pretty bad. You'll see we got some more of them over there. But first we're going to go in here and get this one from behind because there's an item over here. Get Tempering Damp Blood Gem Tier 6, which I believe is going to be a pretty powerful one. I forget exactly. Physical attack up 9.1%, and then thrust attack 10.9. Okay. So, you'll see there's a well right in the middle. I guess you can't really see. There is a new type of enemy standing right by that well, and what he does is he fires off these projectile skull things. I'm going to use my lock shield to help block the damage, and I'm going to kill him to keep those... once you kill him, those skulls aren't going to come out anymore. So now I'm just going to go back and fight these guys like normal, now that we've aggroed them. There you go. There's a bunch of these guys around. And so this well, you can actually go down. There is an incredibly tough fight at the bottom. And unfortunately, it is a fight that is mandatory if you're looking to get the all weapons trophy. Because there is a weapon down there that you have to get through that fight to get the weapon. Because one of the enemies as part of that fight drops the weapon. We're going to do it. But it's really tough. Now these things, oh my gosh, you'll see that damage he does. Fighting them straight up is possible. It is very difficult. I totally cheese these guys every time I play them just because they are so difficult and they hit so hard. I cheese them every single time. And it, in my opinion, is the best way to go about it. Eventually, he's going to follow us all the way around here. Look at that, like he leaps at you and just, his attacks are insane. So eventually he's going to get all the way over here, but he's going to leash. And that point where he leashes is going to be where we make our hay. So you'll see he's kind of heading back. Oh, we didn't time that right. but he's leashing. Try not to whiff. And don't get grabbed by him. His grab attack might kill you in one shot. So basically, it's just a matter of baiting his attack, running in, getting a shot, rinsing and repeating. Whoops. Dang it. There's that grab attack. I'm pretty sure he eats you for the grab attack. Or if you run out of health when he does it to you, I think he pretty much just eats you and swallows you. Charge attack. There we go, got him. Yeah, those guys, man. Those guys are tough. But at least he dropped a nice gem for us. Let's see what it is. Tempering tier 5. Physical attack. I guess it's either this one or this one. I can't remember which one it would be. But we'll check it out when we get back to the dream and see which one we can equip, because it looks like it was a pretty good one at least. Okay, so we're going to go back to where we just were now that we killed that guy. Again, you can fight him straight up, but good luck. He is really tough. This guy dropped something for us, some blood vials. Before we go down there, we're just going to explore around here. There's some more enemies for us, some oil urns. Yeah, beware of that. Don't fall prey to that trap. Whoops. We're getting attacked from all sides here. Oh, I didn't know that he threw stuff from up there. You didn't know that he threw bombs. Okay. Well, that was bad. Learn something new every time, huh? But, because normally, actually, I go through that place where that guy was throwing bombs at, and I clear that out first. I was actually deviating from my normal routine, and, you know, that didn't turn out so well. But that's okay. But unfortunately, we're going to have to kill that giant shark thing again. At least I'm pretty sure he respawns. Fortunately, we weren't too far in before we died, so we don't have that much like backtracking to do. Alright. So these things, if you don't prepare for them, they reach all the way back here. So, all right, they stuck together. Got them both in one shot. Good deal. All right, so you can use the shield or not. You can also just charge in. Make sure you just don't linger, because if those purple skulls hit you all the time, if a bunch of them hit you over and over again, they're gonna probably kill you. Okay, so over here, got this guy. And then what I usually do, and I guess what I should have done, is I usually go in here first. I kill these guys. Watch out, there's some bombs there. Okay, got some blood vials. There's some more up here. There's the one that was throwing the bombs at us. Kind of stationed by that window. So we're going to kill him so we don't have to deal with him again. I honestly did not even know that he stayed up there and threw bombs down at you until just now, because I've always killed him first before approaching that way. But now I know. So fire, blood gem. And yep, that big shark dude's back, so we're gonna have to fight him again. Oh well. Alright. Oh, these things are so crazy. And before I died, I mentioned down in that well, there's a really difficult fight. What that fight is it's 2 of these at the same time. And there's not really a good way to cheese them either. And I guess I do have a specific strategy that I use, but it's not easy to pull off. I still die a lot when doing it. And there's actually a way you can approach the well from behind later on in the level, so that's actually the way that I prefer to get to them, as opposed to just going down the well at the beginning of the level. And so we'll be getting to that fight later on. It's actually harder than a lot of the boss fights in this game, in my opinion.
Atonement for the wretches by the rat that mother caused.
That grab attack. Should be leashing. There we go. Oops. And he's dead. Okay. So now he's out of the way. And now that that guy who trolled us before is out of the way, we can proceed. But we are far from being out of the woods, unfortunately. Some blood vials. And there's going to be some guys lurking around the corner here. There's always one that comes from behind. So be aware of that one. Kin Cold Blood. Good deal. Alright. So let's take on these guys. That's where we died last time, courtesy of that dude up there. Got my blood echoes back. Okay, so you can actually go up this little cliff here, and it takes you to an area up here that a lot of people miss. Get some Great One's Wisdom. And then this is a pseudo shortcut that leads back to the first lamp. Can't remember, there's nothing around here. Okay. So this leads kind of backtracking, but on a level above where we just were. And there are some enemies up here as well. Yep, one just dropped down on us. He tries to sneak up on you. We're not going to let that happen. I've already fallen prey to one trap. Fortunately, I'm aware of the other ones that are trying to kill me as well. Alright, so here we get the Harrowed garb. So this is actually what Simon's been wearing this whole time. Remember Simon, the NPC, and the DLC we've come across a couple times? The Harrowed set is what he's wearing. So we get a Bloodstone chunk. And we'll read it. I think there's some interesting stuff, if I recall, to do with the Harrowed set. There it is. Certain church hunters obfuscate their identities and slip into the nooks and crannies of the city. This is the garb that allows these harrowed individuals to go unnoticed. These hunters are keen to early signs of the scourge, serving as a first line of defense against its outbreak. Or perhaps, when the time is ripe, they find signs of the scourge where there are none. It just goes to show the corner beggar is not always who he seems. I thought it would have some information on the Fishing Hamlet, but I guess I misremembered. So the way forward is going to be over here, and the way is not easy. There's going to be some dog-like enemies. There's going to be some more of these guys with their pitchforks. Some of these guys now throw spears at you, so they have a ranged attack. Over here, we got basically the Fishing Hamlet's version of the dogs. Very similar moveset, very similar everything else except for appearance. There's going to be some other enemies around here. just got stuck behind a rock there. And here come the rest of them. So I think these guys are spear throwers. Yep. Fortunately, I can probably charge attack and get both of them. Okay. Just one. Some oil urns. Anything else? Blood vials. And there's another spear thrower over here. But up there is another one of those ghost projectile summoners. So what I do is I get a hit in, run back so the ghosts don't get me, the skull ghost things. Run in, get another hit to kill them. Run back. Now if you get right up next to that cliff where he's at, he's not going to be able to hit you, you're going to be kind of out of range of him. Now the trick is, if you go up and kill him, there's another one of those giant shark dudes that come out at you, and they attack you, and it's not fun. So he's right around that corner. He's going to come out at us now. There he goes. And we're almost dead again. Oh, we need to outrun these things. Okay, whew. That was almost another death. I've died here many times. So to cheese this one, lure him around. Fortunately, you don't have to go all the way back to the beginning, but you can get him stuck behind this tree, where he'll lunge at you, and he'll get stuck right here. And so bring him forward a little bit. There we go. And you can attack him. Whoops. Ah, dang it. Alright. Oops, my attacks are not... I forget how I do this. Oh yeah, I do it this way, where he leashes back, I'll run out and attack him, and then let him get stuck again. Come on. I think if he gets stuck here, you can do like a thrust and still hit him. I think that's what it is. Thrust. There it is. Yeah. And they'll leash back. Get an attack. Rinse and repeat. That big golf swing uppercut that he does with his anchor. It's a powerful attack. Alright, come on. Lunge at me. There we go. There we go. A lunge again. Alright, he's dead. Okay, sweet. Now we can run and get the skull guy. And again, his skulls can't get you when you're too close. So I just run over here, run right up to him. And you definitely want to kill the shark dude before doing this, because if you don't, you're going to be toast, because he comes right from there. And if you're not looking out for him, if you're just focused on this guy trying to kill him, you're going to get killed pretty quick. So down here, got some Great One's Wisdom. And there's some other stuff around here, I believe. No, there's another way, another little thing to go through. Where is it? Here we go. Bloodstone chunk. Good stuff. Okay. So, we are prepared to move forward. Alright, so here we go. We have this weird looking sun right here. And that is the technical way forward, but we're not going to go there quite yet, because in this little hut we have a lamp. Ooh, we need this lamp so bad. Oh yes, that lamp is so good to us. And unfortunately, lying here on the ground is Simon, so let's talk to him.
Who are you? I'm afraid I've made a botch of things. Oh, I can hear the bell now. The beast-eyed assassin. He's after me. Again. And again. It never ends. Please, need you to do something. This village is the true secret. Testament to the old sins. It feeds this hunter's nightmare. Please, bring to an end the horror. So our forefathers sinned. We hunters cannot bear their weight forever. It isn't fair. It just isn't fair.
All right, so we get Simon's Bowblade and the underground cell inner chamber key. So Simon's Bowblade is a weapon that does count towards the weapons trophy in the DLC, and then this cell inner chamber key that we have that takes us back to that hallway in the dungeon with all those cells right after where we fought Laurence. So we're going to head back there as well. So he made reference to the sins of the forefathers, and that would be the first hunters in this school of Bergenworth who came across this fishing hamlet long ago. And he said that this place still feeds the nightmare, and we're still paying for those sins of the people who came long ago and made some of the discoveries that led to the split between Bergenworth and the Healing Church. So over here, I believe there's a locked gate we're going to unlock in a little bit, and we have an item, Kin Cold Blood Tier 10. So we're going to warp back and go to that underground, or go to that cell that we need to get to, and I'll show you why real quick. Because when we proceed forward, hear that bell. And then that thing spawns. So you can kill him, but he is going to spawn several times throughout the rest of the fishing hamlet. So you kill him that one time, but that's not going to stop him. He's going to spawn it probably 2 or 3 other times. You can actually take care of that by heading back to that cell. So let's return to the Hunter's Dream. We'll spend our blood echoes, and we're going to head back to that hallway from right after where we fought Laurence, and we're going to use the key that we just got from Simon.
Gammon. Very well.
Okay, let's go ahead and put it to Vitality.
Farewell.
Then, as I said, we're going to go back up and we're going to warp back to Laurence's room, which is the underground corpse pile, i.e. the source of the River of Blood. Remember that long River of Blood in the first area of the Hunter's Nightmare where all those jumping, bloody spider things were? This is... The source of that is Laurence's room, where he obviously has killed a number of beings and created this bloody room that then runs downstream. So you can see, yes, it is. Underground corpse pile is an apt description of where we're at. But we're going to go here now that we have the key. And you'll hear that same bell. And conveniently, the enemies that once populated this area are now dead. So this is that phantom that was in the hamlet, and he is using a weapon called the Bloodletter. And he's fairly tough. I mean, he's not the hardest hunter we've fought by a long shot. Let's see if we can get a parry on him. There we go. And the Bloodletter is similar to the Chikage. When you use it in its transformed state, it's a blood-based weapon, and it actually drains your health. But if you've got a blood tinge-based build, it can be very powerful. Okay, so we took care of him. And fortunately, since we beat him here, this is the only time we have to beat him. He's not going to appear anymore in the Fishing Hamlet. Okay, so now that we have the key, we can go down here to this dungeon. And we can unlock the door. And this is the guy that rings the bell.
Do you hear this? Fear the bell's toll. For only death awaits foolish prying eyes, and the church assassins are never far behind.
Alright, so we're going to open the door.
Well, well, look who's here. Welcome to my quarters. I've never entertained a guest before. Are you going to kill me? After all you've done, kill me? As if to right your wrongs. What is it? Or perhaps we'll leave off. What is it? Or perhaps we'll...
Alright, so we're going to kill him. He does not fight you.
Changes. Such is the nature of man.
And he drops the Bloodletter. And that is the weapon of the guy that we just fought. And if you want the all weapons trophy of the DLC, that is one of the weapons required for it, is the Bloodletter. So we just got that. And we're done down here. So we took care of the bell ringer, so we don't have to deal with that guy anymore in the Fishing Hamlet. So with that in mind, we're going to warp right back to the Fishing Hamlet and continue forward. Whoops. Fortunately, we got that second lamp, so we get to skip ahead of a lot of those areas we were in with those weird-looking fish dudes. So Lighthouse Hut is what we want. And unfortunately, Simon is now dead. All right, here we are. So as I mentioned, oh, there's people there again. As I mentioned, the way forward is right here. Fortunately, we do not have to deal with fighting that phantom that was summoned any longer. We can just proceed without any worry or fear. Okay. And right here, have the bloodied armbands. And this guy is a lightning-based enemy. He will fire lightning projectiles at you, and he dropped the blood gem. We can drop down here. There's a lot of enemies, and there's a few items. I will say the risk you assume when you come down here versus the reward is pretty out of proportion. There are just a lot of enemies down here, and there's nothing really earth-shattering in terms of loot. So I tend to not drop down. I have before, and honestly, I kind of view it as a waste of time, so I'm not going to do it here. But if you really want to be thorough, if you really want to explore everything, even though knowing there's nothing that important down here, I was hoping to trigger those bombs, but even if you know there's nothing really that important down here, if you just want to clear everything out and do everything, have at it. But just know that the reward is not all that great. There's no like exclusive items down there. There might be like a blood gem or something like that, but nothing that is way better than what we have already. So if you want to do it, go for it. I'm gonna kind of skip over that area just because I don't really feel like dealing with it. It probably will take 10 or 15 minutes, and there's a very high risk of death just because there's large swarms of enemies. So just in the interest of time, I'm going to skip that. All right. So we got oil urns over here. And you'll notice there's stuff down there, but we cannot drop down or we will die. So make our way around this way. Kill the enemies along our way. And there's a couple of those lightning guys that I mentioned earlier in this room. You'll see what they do. See, they kind of do a ranged lightning attack on you. So it's good to run up to them and kill them quickly, so you're not dealing with their lightning attack, which can be a bit of a nuisance. All right. So we got another one over there. Some blood vials. Always good to have some blood vials. And oh, there we go. This is the gate that was locked, so we now have the back way to that lamp, which doesn't really skip a whole lot in doing that, but I guess it's better than nothing, right? Alright, let's get these guys, and they're going to run in and get the lightning attack people. There's 2 of them. Alright. No problem. Down here, there's some more just regular enemies. Alright. So you can approach this from either side. Okay, so that's it for this level. Or at least this tier, I guess I should say. There's still more in the level. Just gotta go down this ladder, slide on down, and we're at the bottom. And there's some goodies down here for us. So some of these little snail shells, yeah, have enemies that come out. I'm just going to run and get the item. Arcane, Odd, Blood, Gem. There's a thing right here, another Bloodstone chunk. You can kill all these things if you want, but they're really not much of a threat, so I don't really bother with them for the most part. Let's see how many blood vials we get, or blood echoes we get. 600, yeah, not even worth it. I think some of them will drop blood gems and stuff, so leave it up to you in terms of whether or not you want to pursue killing all of them. But I'm pretty much just going to be ignoring most of them. Some twin bloodstone shards, huh? Alright. Make sure we get all the goodies. Bloodstone chunk. And then here we have a different variety of the enemy. They're detached from their shell and they kind of jump out at you. There's one behind us too. And they're hard to hit because they're close to the ground. So there we go. Take care of these 2. They're gone. I'm just going to top off health real quick. Then we got some items over here. Bloodied trousers. And lead elixirs. And look at that. Got the beach over there. Oops. And there's a guy behind us. Wasn't paying attention. Okay. So, down here is another one of those purple skull dudes. He has killed me before. And he's got some guys there protecting him. So I'm going to lure these people away so I don't get attacked by everything all at once. The skulls and the enemies. Him do his attack. Take care of him. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run with the shield and attack this guy. Ugh, dang it, it's so... Easier said than done. Fortunately, we didn't lose all that much progress. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the trick to him is to kind of use your shield to absorb the brunt of his attack until he pauses in between attacks and then to kill him there, because basically what I was doing is I was right in front of him firing his skulls, and I took the full brunt of his damage. So fortunately we unlocked that back door, so we're gonna go down there. We're not gonna lose too much time. In fact, I'm just gonna ignore all these guys and slide on down. Oh, he survived that. Okay. Oh, there's another one. Hello. Nope. They didn't drop anything. Okay, so I'm just going to run back to where we just were. Not too much was lost, fortunately. There's the first jumping one. So I'm going to trigger these, and there's one that comes up from behind, I think. Whoops. Silver bullets. Better than nothing. Blood echoes retrieved. Good deal. Alright, top off health. And we'll lure this one from the side, I believe. It comes out from here. Run, 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 run. Yeah, these things got some range. Alright. So take the shield out. We'll absorb the attack. There we go. Run up. Now that he's not... There we go. That works well. Should have just done that the first time. And he drops Kin Coldblood, tier 11. Nice. And Madman's Knowledge. Okay, cool. So, we can drop down right here. And there's some more places for us to go. First, we're going to go down this ladder. Cursed Kin Hunter's Damp Blood Gem, tier 6. That's got to be good, right? Where are the cursed gems? Did I pass them? There we go. Attack versus the kin up plus 26.7. Attack versus beast down minus 10.9. So for those kin enemies, that's going to be a good one. Plus 20 something odd %. All right. And we got a weapon or an item over here. Great One's Wisdom. So this path leads to the next boss. We're not quite ready to go there yet. We still got some unfinished business to take care of down here. Namely, this is a lever that we can actually pull before the elevator is visible, because this brings the elevator down. And we are going to ride it right now. Kin Coldblood tier 10, and lo and behold, we can unlock this gate, and here we are back at our lantern right there. So this is a grand shortcut for us. We're already kind of coming up close to time here, so I'm going to go on and call the episode right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Fortunately, we were able to get Laurence in this episode. In my opinion, the hardest boss of the game. If you like what you see, or if this walkthrough has helped you in any way, please consider joining the squad by subscribing to the channel and leave a like and a comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. In the next episode, we're going to close out the DLC and kill the last boss of the DLC, which is quite an exciting boss fight indeed. So thank you guys again for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.